In January 1986, just weeks after the assassination of Paul Castellano, new Gambino family boss John Gotti is recorded by the FBI discussing how he planned to restructure some of the crews under his command. Let's check it out. Welcome to OC Shorts, bringing you detailed historical snapshots of the American Mafia and other organised crime. Feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. Today we're going to take a quick look at a conversation between John Gotti and soldier George Remini, where the newly crowned family boss discusses a shake-up of personnel in the crime family. In January 1986, only a matter of weeks after John Carneglia emptied his gun into Paul Castellano outside Sparks Steakhouse, the FBI recorded new Gambino boss John Gotti next door to the Nice and Easy Auto School in Ozone Park, talking to soldier Fat Georgie Remini about his plans for some of his captains and crews. The Dapper Don was recorded saying, "Okay, good, I'll tell the other guy. You can warm him up if you want to. In 2 weeks, we're changing positions. You go up, he's coming down. You tell him. I mean, where we going, Georgie? I mean, where the fuck we going?" Low whisper. "Just between me and you, Mr. Lilo is not a well man. Mr. Lilo is very sick, very sick. He's in intensive care. 83 years old. A good guy. What a fucking... He's a nice man. You gotta hear, he says, I got one little demand before I die. But I mean a good man. He don't want Paulie Zacharia, a capo regime. He doesn't want... So I told Frankie and Joe Gallo, we're going to keep that open till June, till Mickey comes home. We give it to Mickey. Who do you want to give it to, Georgie? You know what I mean?" So, let's take a look at some of the names mentioned in Gotti's conversation. Georgie, the man that Gotti is speaking to, is George Fat Georgie Remini, also known as Big George by some. George Remini was born in August 1945 and would go on to become a made man serving in the crew of Tommy Gambino. Tommy Gambino, of course, being the son of legendary family boss Carlo Gambino. Big George had an interest in Top Tomato Fruit and Vegetables on Amby Road in Staten Island. Or, as many of you would say, Top Tomato. FBI agent Joseph O'Brien once asked Big George how he managed to get his produce delivery trucks loaded before his competitors. To which Fat Georgie responded, "You get your ass out of bed at 3 AM to be at the market for 4. You push harder than the Koreans and you scream louder than the Puerto Ricans. And that's how you get fresh goods." George Remini had known John Gotti a long time and was both loyal and close to the new family boss. In 1989, Tommy Gambino was on trial for a federal charge, and John Gotti, Joe Butch Correo and George Remini were to be subpoenaed to testify at the trial. One newspaper reported what Gotti was recorded saying about this. "Get my cell ready, get Joe Butch's cell ready, and get Fat Georgie's cell ready. And nobody is taking the stand." John Gotti and Joe Butch were never called to testify. However, George Remini was. But he refused to appear as a witness and was jailed. Anyway, at the start of the conversation between John Gotti and George Remini, we see that Gotti states that there will be a change in positions, with Georgie going up and someone else coming down. Perhaps an indication that George Remini's long-time loyalty to the family boss was being rewarded. But we will cover Big George's promotion in greater detail in a later part of the conversation. Gotti then refers to a man known as Mr. Lilo. Gotti says, "Mr. Lilo is very sick, very sick. He's in intensive care. 83 years old. A good guy." Mr. Lilo is in fact longtime Gambino family captain Olympia Lilo Garofalo. Garofalo had been a captain since the 1960s, having taken over from Jerome Jerry Mummy DeCicco, the son of slain family boss Toto DeCicco. Jerry Mummy would step down and would then serve in the crew of Garofalo. Over the next 2 decades, Olympia Garofalo would command a crew that included such figures as John Jackie Nose DeCicco and Michael Mickey Boy Paradiso. The ailing Garofalo had told John Gotti that when he died, he didn't want crew member Paulie Zaccaria to become his replacement as captain. Paulie Zac was a long-time Gambino family member and even appeared on the famous charts at the Valachi hearings. He would go on to become a mentor for Mikey Scars di Leonardo. When Mikey Scars became a government witness, he recalled his relationship with Paulie Zac. Question: how about an individual named Paulie Zaccaria? Who is he? Mikey Scars: he was someone who, his father and my paternal grandfather were very good friends. He was one of the guys from the turn of century, also being Paulie Zac's father, so we remained very close, with Paulie Zac my mentor. Question: and Paulie Zac's relationship, if any, with the Gambino family at this point in time? Mikey Scars: he was a soldier. Question: what were you? Mikey Scars: associate. John Gotti then goes on to say that he's spoken with Frankie and Joe Gallo regarding Olympia Garofalo's request for his replacement as captain, and states that, we're going to keep it open till June, till Mickey comes home. We give it to Mickey. The Frank referenced is Frank DeCicco, Gotti's new underboss, and Joe Gallo is Joe N. Gallo, Gotti's consigliere. These two men, alongside Gotti, completed the Gambino family hierarchy. Mickey, who was mentioned by Gotti, is his old friend Michael Mickey Boy Paradiso, a fearsome gangster who went back a long way with the Dapper Don, and allegedly once punched Gotti in the face. I've covered Mickey Boy Paradiso in further detail in one of my previous videos. At the time of this discussion, Michael Paradiso is in prison on a hijacking conviction, serving 8 years of a sentence received in 1978. And it appears that when Michael Paradiso is freed, John Gotti plans to elevate his old friend to the position of captain to replace Olympia Garofalo. Interestingly, despite what we hear in this conversation, Paulie Zac Zaccaria did in fact take over as captain of Olympia Garofalo's crew in 1986. He ran the crew until 1989 when he stepped down and was replaced by John Jackie Nose DeCicco. As for Mickey Boy Paradiso, down the line it's alleged that he would eventually become captain of what was left of the Bergen crew, which had been split up over the years. Gotti continues his conversation with George Remini. I mean, it sounds crazy, Georgie, but I was telling Frankie and Angelo, I'm going to suggest to Tommy we're going to beef up his regime. Tommy Gambino. But we're not giving him no fucking hotheads or any of those scumbags. We can't fuck his mind up with these bullshit street sit-downs. I don't want to hurt Tommy, so my suggestion to Joe N. We suggest you make Georgie the acting captain, Angelo a captain. You're gonna need guys for these kind of situations, like with this Eddie guy. Tommy don't know how to handle that. He's a sweetheart for everything else, but you would know how to handle it, Georgie. You gotta have a friend as your boss. He's gonna give us 100%. You know what I'm saying? Remini. Sure. Gotti. It's gonna be nice. You watch. And we're going back to this regular thing, not bothering everybody. Low whisper. Are you embarrassed with Tommy? You wanna still? Remini. No. I'm used to him. So here we have further information regarding John Gotti's plans for George Remini. Tommy Gambino was a huge earner for the Gambino family, thanks to his influence in the garment centre and trucking companies. However, Gotti evidently feels that Tommy is more racketeer than gangster, and not adept enough at some of the street stuff. Gotti plans to keep Tommy Gambino as captain of the crew, but interestingly also states that he will make George Remini acting captain. This is to ensure that no one messes with Tommy Gambino, and essentially keeps him away from any street level issues. leaving Gambino to focus on making money through his garment and trucking enterprises. Essentially, although Tommy Gambino was still captain, Gotti was effectively making George Remini a kind of street captain. When Tommy Gambino was sent to prison in 1991, George Fat Georgie Remini did in fact officially take over as acting captain for a while. After a few years he stepped down and was replaced by Carmine Top Tomato Sciadra, who was allegedly the current captain of the crew. In the conversation, Gotti briefly mentions also promoting his longtime friend Angelo Ruggiero to the position of captain. This was a role that Ruggiero held briefly until he fell out with Gotti and then died of cancer in 1989. The final couple of lines in the conversation between George Remini and John Gotti are intriguing. Gotti whispers, "Are you embarrassed with Tommy? You want to still?" Remini, "No. I'm used to him." Make of that what you will. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.